My name is Margaret. I'm 83 years old. I'm sitting here in a house that used to feel too small. Now it feels enormous.
There's a phone on the table next to me. It's one of those old landlines. I keep it plugged in even though most people don't call landlines anymore. I tell myself it's just in case. In case of what, I'm not sure. But I know why it doesn't ring. I didn't always know. For a long time, I thought it was them. I thought my daughter was busy. I thought my son had his own life now. I thought my friends from church had just gotten older, more tired. I thought people forget. I thought that's just what happens when you get to a certain age. You become quieter, less necessary. I believed that for years, but I understand now. It wasn't them, it was me. I grew up in a house where feelings weren't something you talked about. You worked, you kept things tidy, you didn't complain. My mother used to say, "No one wants to hear it, Margaret," and I believed her. So I learned how to be pleasant. I learned how to smile and nod and say, "Oh, I'm fine," even when I wasn't. I learned how to ask about other people and never burden them with myself. I thought that made me strong. I thought that made me kind. I got married when I was 22. His name was Dennis. He was quiet too, but in a different way. He didn't talk much, but when he did, it mattered. I loved that about him at first. We had 2 children. Sarah came first, then Michael 3 years later. I did everything a mother was supposed to do. I packed lunches. I went to school plays. I kept the house clean. I made dinner every night at 6. But I don't think I ever told them I was proud of them. Not out loud. I thought they knew. When Sarah was 16, she came home crying one afternoon. I don't remember why anymore. Something about a boy or a friend, or maybe it was school. I remember she stood in the kitchen doorway with her arms wrapped around herself. And I said, "Well, you feel better tomorrow." Then I went back to folding laundry. She stood there for a moment, then she left. I thought I was teaching her resilience. I thought I was helping her not to dwell. Michael was different. He was softer than Sarah. He used to draw pictures and leave them on the refrigerator. Little ones, a house, a dog, our family holding hands. I never said anything about them. I thought if I made too much of it, he'd get embarrassed, or worse, he'd think I was coddling him. So I just let them stay there until they curled at the edges and I threw them away. One day, when he was about 12, he stopped drawing. I didn't notice right away. Dennis died 11 years ago. Heart attack. He was 71. It was quick. The funeral was small. Sarah came with her husband. Michael flew in from Seattle. They stayed for 3 days. We didn't talk much. I think they thought I wanted space. I think I thought I wasn't supposed to need anything. After they left, I went back to the routine. I kept the house the same way. I went to the grocery store on Tuesdays. I watched the news at night. But the phone started ringing less. At first, Sarah would call every Sunday, then every other Sunday, then once a month. Michael sent emails, short ones. "Hope you're doing well, Mom." I always wrote back the same thing. "I'm fine. Don't worry about me." I started going to church more often. I thought maybe I'd find community there. I thought maybe that would fill the quiet. There was a woman named Diane who sat in the same pew as me. We'd known each other for years. She was worn. She talked a lot. She always asked how I was. And I always said, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" Then I let her talk. I liked listening. It felt easier than being heard.
One Sunday after the service, Diane invited me to lunch. She said a few of the women were going to a little cafe downtown and she'd love for me to join. I almost said yes, but then I thought about sitting there with all of them talking and laughing, and I didn't know what I would say. I didn't know how to be the kind of person people wanted at lunch. So I told her I had something at home I needed to take care of. She smiled. She said, "Of course, another time." But she stopped asking after that. Sarah called me on my birthday last year. She sounded tired. She asked how I was, and I said I was fine. She told me about her daughter, my granddaughter, Emma, who had just started high school. She said Emma was struggling a little. Anxiety, maybe. She wasn't sure. Sarah's voice got quieter when she said it, like she was hoping I'd say something. I said, "Well, she's young. She'll grow out of it." There was a pause. Then Sarah said, "Yeah, maybe." We talked for a few more minutes. She said she'd try to visit soon. She didn't. I started thinking about it more after that, about all the times I said I'm fine, about all the times someone reached for me and I stepped back without even realizing it. I thought I was being considerate. I thought I was making things easier. But I think what I was really doing was keeping people out. Michael called me a few months ago. It had been a while. He said he'd been in therapy. He said he was working through some things. He didn't say what exactly, but I could hear something different in his voice. He asked me if I remembered the drawings he used to make. I lied. I said, "Of course I do." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I don't think you ever told me you liked them." I didn't know what to say, so I said, "Well, you were very creative." Another pause. He said, "I just wanted you to see me, Mom." I felt something crack open inside my chest. I wanted to tell him I did see him. I wanted to tell him I was sorry. But instead, I said, "I know, sweetheart," and we moved on. I think about that conversation almost every day now. I think about Sarah standing in the kitchen doorway. I think about Diane's invitations. I think about Dennis and how we lived in the same house for 47 years, and I'm not sure I ever told him I was afraid of anything. I think about all the moments I could have opened the door, and I didn't. I used to think love was about not being a burden. I thought it was about being strong and reliable and not needing too much. I thought if I kept myself together, people would respect me. But respect isn't the same as closeness, and strength isn't the same as connection. The phone doesn't ring much anymore. Sarah texts sometimes. Michael sends a card on Mother's Day. I don't blame them. I taught them that I didn't need anything. I taught them that I was fine, and they believed me. I've started thinking about what I would say if I could go back. If I could stand in that kitchen with Sarah again. I think I would put the laundry down. I think I would walk over to her and I would hold her. I think I would say, "Tell me what happened. I'm listening." If I could see Michael's drawings again, I think I would tape them to the wall instead of the refrigerator. I think I would sit with him and ask him to tell me about them. If Diane asked me to lunch now, I think I would say yes, even if I didn't know what to say, even if I felt awkward. Because maybe that's what people wanted, not for me to be perfect, just for me to be there. I think about calling Sarah sometimes, not to ask how she is, but to tell her I miss her, to tell her I'm sorry I made her think her feelings were too much, to tell her I was wrong. But I don't know how to start that conversation now. I don't know if it's too late.
A few weeks ago, I was cleaning out a drawer in the kitchen. I found one of Michael's drawings. It must have slipped behind something years ago. It was all of us. Me, Dennis, Sarah, Michael. We were standing in front of a house with a tree next to it. Everyone was smiling. I sat down at the table and I cried. Not because it was beautiful, but because I realized he saw us that way. And I spent so much time trying to hold everything together that I never let him know I saw him too. I don't know why I'm saying all of this now. Maybe because I'm running out of time to say it. Maybe because I'm hoping someone else will hear it and do something different. I don't have advice. I don't have steps or answers. I just know that I built walls I didn't mean to build. I know I thought I was protecting people by not needing them, but what I was really doing was telling them they didn't matter enough to carry anything for me. And now the house is quiet, and the phone doesn't ring, and I understand why. If you're still here, thank you for listening. I don't know what you're carrying. I don't know who you're holding at arm's length without meaning to. But maybe sit with that for a moment. Maybe it's not too late for you. I hope it's not.